If you live in or have driven through the southeastern United States, there's a good chance you noticed strikingly large leaf trees growing along the roads, and there were probably a lot of them. Those trees with the big parasol-like leaves and showy pink to purple flowers are the princess tree Paulownia tomentosa, a tree that is native to parts of China that can now be found throughout the southeastern U.S. and even up into areas of the northeast and scattered spots in Texas and Oklahoma and the Pacific Northwest. In general, it is found from the Ohio River Valley south, and it is considered an invasive species in North America. Princess tree has some interesting history surrounding how it came into North America, and even how it came about its unique genus name. And I'm going to delve into all of that, along with some other interesting tidbits of knowledge as we learn how to identify this invasive tree. Princess tree is a fast-growing tree, up to 15 feet per year for young trees, and can reach its mature size of 30 to 50 feet tall with a 20 to 30 foot spread in as little as 10 years in optimum conditions. When mature, it has a pleasing rounded, open growth form. Young saplings and stump sprouts look quite different from older trees, and young princess trees with their green trunks and giant leaves look more like a huge herbaceous plant than a tree. The fast growth rate of Paulownia is one reason it was intentionally introduced into North America in the mid-1800s. It was brought in to be used as a silviculture crop. The quick, straight growth of plantation-grown princess trees can produce harvestable logs in a relatively short time. Paulownia wood dries quickly, and it is quite stable, and is very light in weight, around 15 to 19 pounds per cubic foot, and is often referred to as the other balsa. It has been used historically for furniture, musical instruments such as the Japanese koto, various kitchen implements, wooden sandals and clogs, and wood carvings. In more recent times, it has found use in making surfboards, boat building, and electric guitar bodies. While Paulownia farming never really caught on as an industry in North America, there are still a few Paulownia plantations, although the domestic market for the wood is small and the export market is quite speculative. Not only does princess tree grow quickly, but it also grows just about anywhere, from highly urbanized cities to very rural areas, especially in places where the soil has been disturbed, which is a huge part of why it becomes a problem when it escapes cultivation and invades native plant communities. It is not picky about soil and will grow in just about any soil type and in a wide pH range if the soil has adequate moisture and is well drained. It does not do well in overly dry soil or soil that is constantly wet or frequently floods. Princess tree prefers full sun but can grow in partial shade, just not nearly as quickly as it can in full sun. If you love learning about how to identify invasive species, then please go identify that like button. The leaves of the princess tree are quite impressive, and the thing most people notice first about this tree is the size of its leaves. They can be from 5 to 12 inches long and just as wide on older trees. Young saplings and stump sprouts may have leaves close to 3 feet across. The leaves are heart-shaped, and at first glance may be mistaken for the leaves of our native catalpa trees, although princess tree often has leaves with 3 to 5 lobes. The leaf margin or edge is entire or smooth, although young trees may have some leaves with coarsely toothed leaf margins. There are soft, fuzzy, velvety feeling hairs on both surfaces, with the lower surface usually being fuzzier. This is where the species name Tomentosa, which means covered in hairs, comes from. The leaves have a light green color on the upper surface with a paler lower surface. The arrangement of the leaves on the twig is opposite, with some leaves occasionally forming in whorls of 3 leaves on young sprouts. There is little fall color with princess tree. The leaves usually just turn brown, crumple up, and fall from the tree. Since I explained where the species name comes from, it seems like a good place to talk about where the genus Paulownia derives from. Even though the tree is native to China, the genus Paulownia was named by the German botanist Philipp Franz von Siebold to honor a member of royalty, specifically Grand Duchess Anna Pavlovna of Russia, who was also the queen consort of the Netherlands. The original spelling of the genus was Pavlovnia, but it has obviously changed over time. The fact that the genus was named after royalty also led to some of Paulownia tomentosa's common names: princess tree, empress tree, and royal Paulownia. The bark of the princess tree varies quite a bit with age. Young stump sprouts and saplings have green bark with small white lenticels. Lenticels are wart-like growths on tree bark. Slightly older trees have bark that is thin, brown to gray, and smooth with noticeable white lenticels. As the tree ages, the bark takes on a distinctive wavy pattern of smooth, gray flats and darker brown, rougher ridges, and the lenticels may be visible or become obscured. The ridges become more pronounced with age, and the bark becomes rougher overall, and the lenticels are no longer visible. Twigs are bronzy brown, smooth, have conspicuous white lenticels, a hollow chambered pith, and have large heart-shaped leaf scars with a heart-shaped bundle scar inside them. Princess trees are prone to wind and ice damage as the branches aren't overly strong. This is also a good place to mention that Princess tree has an incredible stump and root sprout response if it is cut down. Something to keep in mind when removing it. Just don't cut it down and think you are done with it. It will sprout back quickly and aggressively from both the stump and the roots. So the stump must either be treated with herbicide or you must stay on top of chopping sprouts down until the root reserves are expended. I often get asked why I don't do videos detailing invasive species control, and quite simply, it's because invasive species is a very complex issue that varies greatly property to property. A ton of variables come into play when making an invasive species management plan. What invasive species are involved? How big's the infestation? Are there native species growing in the area? Is there standing or flowing water on the property? Are there neighbor concerns? What's the level of experience of the landowner? What are the resources the landowner has available? What herbicides are legal to use in the area? And many more. Since invasive species management is such a complex issue, I prefer to work with landowners one-on-one so that the advice I give them is tailored to their specific set of circumstances. I do this within the backyard ecology community, where we provide more than just invasive species management advice. It is also a place to learn about creating native plant communities on your property, learning about the critters and pollinators that use them, and connecting with like-minded people. If this sounds like something you would be interested in, you can learn more about the backyard ecology community at the link in the description. And now we come to yet another reason Princess tree was brought to North America, for its ornamental qualities. Beyond its pleasing growth form and super impressive foliage, Princess tree has quite striking pink to purple, sometimes white, 1 to 3 inch long, tubular or trumpet shaped, fragrant vanilla scented blooms that are also edible. The flowers form in long spike-like panicles that can be up to 14 inches long. Bloom time is from April to May, depending on location. There is no denying Princess tree is a beautiful tree, just not a great fit for North America, and it is unfortunately still being sold in the nursery trade and still often planted as an ornamental. The tubular flowers resemble the flowers of another famous plant, common foxglove, Digitalis purpurea, and are the source of yet another common name for this tree, the foxglove tree. The flowers are followed by pointed-tipped, egg-shaped, 1 to 1.5 inch long green seed pods that mature to brown in the late summer and fall. Each pod is filled with 1 to 2,000 small winged seeds. The ripe seed pods are dehiscent. Dehiscent is plant nerd for it splits open, which when they do, those tiny super light winged seeds are scattered everywhere by the wind and can be carried further by water after they hit the ground. A mature tree can produce up to 20 million seeds per year. With that type of seed production, it is easy to see how a tree with no natural controls here in North America can spread like crazy and dominate in some situations. Those tiny seeds end up in some crazy spots too, and Princess tree is quite capable of growing in many of them. Which brings up the question, what is the craziest place you've ever seen a Princess tree growing in? Tell us about it down in the comments. The dried and split seed pods often remain on the tree through the winter and into the spring and are a great cue for spotting Princess tree during those times. The seed pods have a historical use that also aided in the spread of Princess tree to North America. They were used as a sort of natural packing peanut for shipments of glassware being shipped from Asia to North America during the 1800s. When the crates filled with these packing pods reached their destination, the pods were discarded along with the seeds they contained. Also historically, Princess tree has been used in traditional Chinese medicine for a variety of ailments, and research has shown that it does contain a variety of bioactive phytochemicals, some of which have never been isolated from other plants. Several of these compounds have shown anti-cancer properties in the lab, and there is continuing research into them to see if they may be a source of cancer treatments. There is no question that princess trees are beautiful and have several uses, but its lack of natural controls and its ability to grow quickly and rapidly invade certain niches in North America, especially in the eastern US, are what place it into the invasive category. It provides little for native pollinators, isn't a host plant, and is not used by wildlife to any meaningful extent. Its rapid growth and large leaves produce a ton of shade that can inhibit native plant species, and its ability to grow in rocky soil and even cracked bedrock often allows it to grow in places where fragile native plant communities often exist. This is one of those trees that, even though it is still available in the nursery trade, should not be planted in North America, and any found growing should be removed. If you like the look of the princess tree, there are a couple of native North American species that have a lot in common with it. Our native Catalpas have similar leaves and flowers, with the bonus of being a benefit to native pollinators and a host plant to some super cool caterpillars. You can learn about our 2 native Catalpa species in this video, and be sure to take some time and enjoy nature in your backyard.